All right, my friends, this is Maryland. After a little bit of mucking about, I had some sound problems, but I've solved that, so we'll move on again. This is Blame Lyran Renegade, a Disciples game with myself as Patala, Zabalba, and Utgard. And to start it off, we'll just have a quick look here. Fogmind, it wasn't YouTube, it was I'm using a thing called Voice Meter Banana to give me a little bit of extra control over the sound, and it had not been set up properly with OBS. I've hardly ever used the YouTube streaming. I was doing Twitch, but I'm sort of wondering if Twitch is appropriate after that hack. I did change my password and everything else related to the hack, but we'll kind of see. Anyways, moving along here. So right off the bat, we found a nice little site because we're searching with Naginis. I made quite a few Naginis because, for people who might have remembered the prior episodes, they've got quite good leadership and they could do some point buffing, particularly right now Moss Body, and you'll see I'm using some of that. So then on the fights, Atlantis sent a fairly small little force to expand into the water, and then I actually had been sending another force to the same place. And this is a kind of an interesting little battle. I was watching it prior here before the sound was fixed. You could see, so the funny tidbit here is he goes to do a blast, and the damn blast misses. It caught this guy. That guy wasn't a sacred, but it missed this guy, and it missed this guy, and then the other ones I think get too far ahead, and the Tungalit goes and blesses itself. Let's see where its second blast cast. So you've got a range on blasts of 10. No, oh, and then it goes to skeletal body. So most of his Arcertuts here didn't get blessed, which is too bad. Because if we have a look here, this one's blessed now. Which one was the one that got blessed? The one back here. Yeah, so it's stuck way back there. But his poison resist is kind of useful, especially against my Nagas. So it's got some reinvigoration. Dark vision. Why would you pick dark vision on? Oh, this is a Disciples game, so any blast is going to be a compromise. And this is turn 15, so any dormants should be coming out. Should be out by now. You can see I've tossed up some Moss Body, so that's useful. So basically you've got that first hit, and then, you know, the nice thing about Moss Body, especially on Nagas, is they have excellent poison resistance. So let's watch these guys come forward. So I've tried to set my Triton Troopers on attack rear, but they don't quite make it. And they actually get wiped out pretty heftily by the big halberds. You know, the bone glaives of the Arcertuts and stuff. So those hit hard. Quite hard. Good stats, heavy damage. So they get wiped out. Then along come the fishmen. These are the armored fishmen. Yeah, the mediums. They're not bad. They don't have the nets. And then the Nagas come along and do the cleanup. And as we noticed, you could see here, we've got one of those stuns. That's from the hypnotize on the Nagas. Pretty useful. They're not spitting. I believe the spit doesn't work in the water, but I'm not going to say that I'm absolutely correct on that. It's just a possibility. So that was nice, pretty nice and clean. Then I made another expansion here. So I lost one of my cheap priests. I don't think there's anything too special to watch. You can see I'm using a bit of a bait squad. So the sticks and stones, Marcata, and then whatever is left of the starting army's little short bows. So let's see. And maybe we want the colors on. Where the heck's our colors? See. There we are. So are his lances going to take out Marcata? They sure as heck are. So soaking up lance hits with Marcata is very cost effective. And that'll save my big bandars, which are shooting from back here. Should be. Are they going to throw their sticks and stones? And then the Nagas will move forward. The Makata have run away. And the two little Makata archers in the front survived. Now the poisons are doing a lot of missing. So far I'm not seeing any poison ticks. Ooh, little touch and go. Those heavy cavalry almost got past. They could be going at the command, and that's why they got the Brahmin. Because they did get past the front line. So I saw a few ticks of poisons. Not a whole heck of a lot, but just a little bit. There we go. There's some poisons ticking. And I think these guys are broken. That one looks stunned. Yeah. Got a hypnotized stun on there. The independent crossbows aren't doing a heck of a lot at all. So I think we've seen what we want to see. The sticks and tones mostly miss. So we'll move on. That was mine. And then how did Zabalba do? Pretty good. So we started to use some woe much and some other much, or mooch. Mooch, I think some people say. W might be mooch. W is not a spelling you see in English much. I know that it is used in other languages, so how that's interpreted. So he has, he's got some of the sacreds, the obsidian warriors, and these are the plain club zots, and then he's got the Womuch, the sacreds, with the hard-hitting obsidian blades. So let's see. So he's done the first squad of cheapos, do an attack right off the bat, and they get wiped out, but that's fine. Part of the point is just to bust up formations. They might snipe a commander, you never know. There's always that chance. Let's just go a little, and now the obsidian warriors come in, and they do not succeed to swipe a commander, but you know, that's the chance you run. And troglodytes are a pain in the butt. There's no question the troglodytes are a pain in the butt. But the Womuch are holding up well. You can take a look at our blast. We've covered this before. We did this funny thing with the charged bodies. I'm not seeing, let's see, I'm not seeing much in the way of charged bodies working too well, but we can move on from there. And then, what do we got here? Oh, Pangaea got attacked by, oh, look at that, trolls. With a whole bunch of spiders. That's a funny attack. So that's kind of this turn. You can see we've developed communications with our teammate Utgard. Utgard is more or less sandwiched between some Arco, some Gath, and some Midgard, I believe. That's Midgard, right? Pretenders. Yeah, Midgard, Gath, and Arcocephali. Now they're not all on the same team. And then here we've got Veti. Let's see, we got two of these light blue flags. So let's just compare again. We should be seeing. So this is Calum, and then this is Veti. Those flags. There's so many blue flags in the late age. I find that causes me a little bit of grief. Caleb's done quite well. Well, Caleb and Veti, Arco. I think I mentioned in the previous episodes that this game did not get set with clustered starts, so my capital and Zabalba's capital are supporting each other fairly well. But you'll see that Micklin here kind of stuck all on his own. And Atlantis is on a team. He's Pretender, and his teammates are Vetiheim and Flagra. So Atlantis doesn't seem to have a whole heck of a lot of support in his area, sitting around in this area. So here's his capital. And I've done most of my expansion. I'm going to help out Zabalba to clear some of this underwater. And eventually we're going to trade off most of the water to Zabalba, because Zabalba can make underwater forts and Patala cannot. which is a bit of a challenge. If you're going to take the water and you can't put forts in it, that's a fair bit of restriction. So I don't see too much else here that really needs looking at. This turn. Very nice for Zabalba to get this cave. He waited a bit because of the troglodytes. He's sort of circling around this throne so that he can block Pangaea from going for it. And his expansion's been a little on the slow side. He had some struggles. But we're in decent condition. Now I believe graphs are off. Yeah. So I've expanded the best, and Zabalba basically the least. A lot of mine is water. I've left, and I had previously negotiated with Micklin, I'll grab this area. This throne is kind of for me. And I've done what land expansion I can basically do. I'm not going to contest with Pangaea. We just want to grab this whole pond. If possible, we would have liked to get Zabalba down in this other long pond, and we do eventually. So I think that sums up turn 15. I'm going to move on. Let's go to turn 16. So maybe I'll do 3 or 4 turns, roughly an hour. At least we'll go for that. That's the target. Okay, so I got some research done. So we're going up Conjuration. We got Body Ethereal already, and that was one of the critical targets. This is an astral nation. We haven't needed it. Instead, some other things were a little more important. So we grabbed the moss body. That was easier. So if we want to, the possibility is to bring out yogis. I haven't got a lot of them. I've got a second fort here. Got some yogis going up here. Grabbing a few of these little Brahmins, inexpensive. And you can see, oh, it looks like I'm going to have a little contest with Atlantis. I don't think I was declared war against Atlantis, but either way, we're still grabbing a few more fishmen, grabbing a few basic tritons because there's still some underwater combat to do. Got a fort going up here, so that'll give me 1 fort, 2 forts, and capital. And down in the water, we're consolidating. This one's fairly tough, so we held it off. The Amber Clan's pretty tough, so we want to sort of put those together. But you can see, done pretty good on getting some nature gems. Some decent sites, although a lot of these, kelp forest. What else? Got ancient temples, those are nice. Those are really nice. Pearls everywhere. So that was this one. Correct. Very useful. Very, very useful. Fun stuff. And what else in the messages? Okay, Zabalba did a ping. 4 wizards. Okay, that could be troublesome. What have we got for wizards here? Quite a few gems, but low paths, so he's not going to make great use of those gems. Oh, this guy's feebled. Well, isn't that funny? Wonder what did that. This guy will do air elementals. That's a challenge. This guy will do lots of fire elementals. That's another serious challenge. And that was, let's take a look at that. That's this throne up here. So that's not going to be easy for anybody. Other expansion, I got that one quite straightforward. So now I'm clearing up this bit of pond. Now that puts a little constraint on Micklin, which is livable. And we see Micklin did some easy expansion over here. Let's take a look at Micklin's Bless. I believe we've seen it, but it's been a while since I recorded the previous episodes, so let's take a look. So he's got a few eagles, decent number of jaguars, and then just some basic medium warriors. Good enough for lots of things. A little bit of bait squads, using some archer bait up here. So let's see his bless. Morale, attack, shock, cold, defense, undying, strength, blood surge. Okay. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Kind of a rainbow bless. Solid. It'll make those pretty dangerous. And what we got for events? Turmoil. We finished this fortress, so now it's upgraded. I think we can go up one more level, right? Yes, we can, and we're working on it. Gonna grab this last independent province. I think that kind of covers anything relatively important related to turn number 16. It's a relatively quiet turn. Atlantis is not showing any major aggression. Now that's interesting. Is that a Veti? That's a Vetiheim flag. You can see the wolf. So is Veti picking a fight with Atlantis? Or no, they're on the same team. Correct? Veti is on the same team. Okay, so just helping each other out. They'll probably do some relinquish. If anybody ever has questions about how the fiddly of disciples works, let me know. Okay, I think that's enough for turn 16. Just looking around, I'm not seeing too much else. Have I set out? Here we go. No, that's a leftover Naga that I had to leave behind. I'm a little surprised at this move. I'm not really sure what I was thinking of doing there. Boy, this is the trouble when you record a long time after. And I haven't particularly sent out Nagarishi site searching yet much. Am I buying Nagarishis? I am, but I'm still getting some Naginis. And I could have shifted this. I could have turned off one of the heavy Nagas. And over here, not buying too much because not a lot of money left. This is some various mixed bags of independents and big bandars and yada yada yada. Sort of mix and match. Okay, I'm going to move on from 16. See if turn 17 has some little bit more interesting stuff. So searching. Okay. So here comes, let's see, Julia Roberts, Keeper of the Storm. That took a while. That definitely took a while. Where am I? Oh, right. That's correct. We went imprisoned. So our disciples are coming out around turn 18, plus or minus 2 or 3 turns. That's why we're just seeing the disciples come out. So he's got the Balaam, that's, I believe, the big leopard. Could look that up, but we should see it come along here. We don't see Utgard's out yet, and of course, sorry, it will be mine. Utgard is the pretender, correct? Boy, look at me forgetting all this stuff. Denzel Washington is our pretender. And I think we've talked about the blast, but we can look over it again. It's kind of goofy. Here, we'll grab one of my temples and have a look at it. So some resistances, some defense, undying, and then charged bodies. So it's all kind of a bit on the bizarre side. Definitely a bit of a bizarre bless. What else in the messages? Interesting. So Utgard picking a bit of a fight with Atlantis. And Pangaea's just doing some independence. That works. I beat up a little bit of Atlantis cheaply. And let's see. Carrying on, so that went well. That is where? Up here? Okay. Looks like I've chosen, again, we're going off past history. I've chosen not to worry about these fairly large bunch of Triton guards and troopers for the time being. You know, once Sabalba can get here, because see, he's done quite well bringing his Womuch with the Bacab underwater, so he can start taking over all of this and manage that. He's still got this province left to sort of grab. This one went fine. You can see I'm bringing the other, these are Nagarajas, bringing them with a few more. So then we could take probably these Tritons next turn. Again, I'm kind of going off memory. It's been quite a while. And beyond that, we're just sort of mucking with Atlantis. Be nice to take this little bit of Atlantis. Time will come. So we're at war with the Atlantis team, but we really don't share a whole heck of a lot of border with them. There's a little bit of Vedheim that Utgard has to deal with, and a little bit of Atlantis shared border, but obviously Mictlan is also kind of putting a great deal of pressure on that border, and we have a good, decent understanding diplomatically with Mictlan. We agreed not to harass him, and he won't harass us, and we'll divvy up the territory. Any other interesting messages? We saw the Bacabs. We saw that fight. We saw that fight. So, a worldwide event, unexpected event, nice bit of taxes, a worldwide event, an arena battle. I bet you I didn't bother with the arena battle because I almost never do. Almost never. That's kind of nice. I found some fire gems. Yeah, I don't see anybody going to the arena. It's just not something that interests me much, so I tend to just tune it out. So right now we're not seeing that, I'm not seeing any threats to Utgard. He'd like to get this water. Utgard would like to get this water. I'm a little blocked from helping him until I can realistically deal with this throne. And that looks moderately tough. Not outrageous. With the moss body and stuff, I should be alright. So there's 2 Nagini coming. And I've definitely done solid searching of much of the water. There's a little bit more left to do. You can see, here we go. So I'm going to call that adequate for turn 17. Until there's serious action, I'm not going to take a huge amount of time on a lot of these turns. Now let's have a look. Quite a bit busier turn. So there's quite a bit of battles going on between Atlantis. I see some Caleb and some Vedheim sort of bouncing back and forth. So let's start at the beginning. So we're going up for the big water elementals. The anticipation is if I have to fight a serious fight against Atlantis, it'll be pretty useful. Let me take a look. We found a magic site. A little bit of water. So water's not a huge critical issue to search for in water. What is really useful to search for in water is nature gems, or search for nature, because you might get a free fort. And then the kelp fortresses are fairly common. We've obviously set this up. I think I could take that quite adequately with some moss body and enough nagas. What happened here for Nick Mictlan? Atlantis pinged it. Oh, he just patrolled out some scouts. I snagged this, but now that is just too darn much, so I'm pulling back. I'm going to try to knock Atlantis out of the water over here. And look at that. Caleb is attacking Atlantis. Okay, that worked fine. And then Vedheim. Ooh, he was just moving a Aegis through, probably site searching. That didn't work too well. That was a little costly. What's he got his script? Possibly not the best script for that. But, because they see him moving forward, so I'm thinking he's not scripted. Is he going to cast anything? Oh, he doesn't cast anything. He's set on attack? Okay, that's kind of... Oh, there we go. Move forward 1. Okay, or maybe 2. Well, anyways, and somebody pinged, Utgard pinged Cloud Mage, Windmaster, and 4 Wizards. That's not gonna be too easy. And this should be Utgard pinging that one. Jigami, that's not so bad. That's actually Yamabushi's, just katanas. They're sacred, but no holy. No, he hasn't got any holy magic, so the independents can't. That's kind of a shame that that setup for the independents isn't the best. What else we got? lots of action. So Micklin, a ping. We saw that Kalem. We saw that Gija. Ooh, what went wrong here? Just not enough guys. Ooh, that's quite a lot of PD, I think. Jade Maidens. Boy, is that 45 PD? I think that's 45 PD. Holy cow. That's a lot of PD. Wowzer. No wonder that didn't work. And since it's PD, attrition doesn't help you at all. So killing off a few of the Jade Maidens or whatever doesn't do any good. Okay, well, I don't think Utgard expected there to be 45 PD. Holy, that's a lot of PD. Good grief. Hey, howdy. TJ, how you doing? Well, I'm trying to get caught up on my recordings for this game. It's about a year ago we did up this game, so we'll go from there. And then I had been recording or doing this on Twitch, but I'm trying out YouTube now to see how this works. We'll just see how this works, if I like YouTube, streaming on YouTube better. There is one major advantage. Converting from a YouTube stream to a permanent YouTube is very easy. Converting from a Twitch stream to a YouTube permanent is a pain in the butt. I'm not very satisfied with how that works out. Sometimes it seems the audio just gets completely removed. And I hope the audio is good here. Where are we here? This one, just a ping by Utgard. Okay. Another ping by Utgard. Okay, that went quite satisfactory, because that's actually a pretty solid bunch of Tritons I had to fight, and I lost cheap independence. I usually don't try to buy too many aquatic only underwater independents like Tritons, but this was a big enough pond to be worthwhile buying a few, especially to reduce the attrition on my Nagas. So we should be seeing adequate amounts of moss body. Got these guys held back. There we go. So they all got boss body, which is pretty nice. And what's really important is we keep these Triton troopers from getting to the two Nagini here, which are a little on the fragile side. Now, this guy's he got stunned. Huh. Wonder if he got stunned by the hypnotize hit my own guy. Glad the audio's good. Yeah, YouTube has... I started off with audio problems, but that was just... I didn't have OBS set quite right. It had been set for Twitch rather than for YouTube. Just small differences. Okay, that went well. Yeah, see, the encase in ice could have slowly caused me some fairly... Oh, that's my own guys casting encase in ice. That's this lady. Brahmi. Nice job. Good spell. Ooh. Oh, that Naga warrior. No wonder he's on guard commander. Now, this is silly. Rusty equipment. Why the hell do you put iron stuff on amphibious guys? That just exasperates me. I find that seriously exasperating. Oh well. Another day. I have this problem with the Gartha that when I send my amphibious guys into the water, the morons get rusty gear. And what else got here? Oh, good job. Good job. So one of the tricks Valba figured out is if he uses a couple of squads of plain old cheapy Zots, he could get some useful distraction and some formation busting. So let's see if this works here. And he just might luck out and get a commander. Well, he's kept these guys on hold attack. And look at that. They got both commanders. So he still loses a lot of Zots. But that was a quick way to win. Quick way to win. And Zots are very cheap. Okay. So he attacked Atlantis. Oh, look at that. Ah, yes. Nice, nice. Good direction for him to push. So we're all trying to going. Atlantis is isolated with inadequate support from his team because his team is Vedheim, and let's just review again. Let's just Atlantis, Vedheim, and Flagra. And we don't even know where Flagra is because I don't see any other yellow. So Atlantis is seriously isolated up here. So who gets the spoils? That's a burning good question. But a couple of nations get wiped out quite early in this game simply because without clustered starts, they're in places that are not very helpful. So we can see that I'm going to make an attempt on this throne with, oh no, that's just a probe. So these guys are consolidating first. I bet you I'm buying some more Tritons. I am. And I bought some more Tritons here, but I can't move them forward just yet. We're going to try to knock Atlantis out of the water here, which would be very useful. And this is mainly with just independence. You can see I'm using, I call this kind of the bull and horns formation. I read about this in a book on Mongol history, that they would have a front that sort of held and a couple of flanking squads. It's more a thing for horse archers, but I find it works quite well underwater because many of the underwater troops, the aquatics, have very high combat speeds, so you could treat them like cavalry. All right, anything else? We saw that one. So some events, bad events, good event, bad event. What's our scales? Turmoil, luck, and we get all kinds of bad events. Oh well. And in the arena. Okay, people just sent scouts. What else? A plane command. Oh, a king of rain. Oh, son of a gun. And an oppressor general. Well, that's nothing too fancy. And keeper of traditions killed the king of rain. Okay, Micklin, that wasn't worth the king of rain. Definitely not. Because the keeper of traditions is a recruit anywhere. Fairly inexpensive unit, and I bet you it just trapples. Well, what size are we here? Size 4? No, it doesn't trapple. It's just going to chop him up with that big battle axe. And his bless. Cheap bless. Really cheap bless. Let's watch this. I'm curious. I think we're just going to see it. Just a big battle axe chopping up that poor king of rain. And whackety whack, whackety whack, whackety whack. And he runs away. Okay. Okay. Well, there you go. There's the arena. Okay, I've completed this castle to the level 3. Now, what's up with this castle? One more month. We're doing some searching. I should have some more searchers out and about, do I? No, no, no. We're pushing over here. Okay, I think I'm happy with turn 18. I'm going to move on. Do you play Dominions, TJ? I know Fogmite plays Dominions. All right, nothing was found here. Okay, well, that's satisfactory. Now, what did we see? Oh, 6 ambers. That's not a heck of a lot. And unshielded tritons, but with the poison spear. And shielded tritons, unarmored. And I have chosen not to attack them yet. We can see here I hired an indie, so I'm bringing forward all these extra tritons. Bet you I've turned off recruit. I have. And I bet you yeah, so I'm not recruiting here, but I will recruit what's available here. So total, we've got a handful of Nagas and a moderate amount of Tritons, but we're bringing a fair number more of... Now these guys are just meat, but they work. Phone call. I'll deal with that in a little bit. All right, let's work through messages. Oh, we found a magic site. What did we find? Earth. Oh, that's useful. And that we've got the first level of that fort up. We've got a temple and a lab, so we're still buying a few just troops because we still have this to deal with. It would be nice to deal with that because Micklin agreed that's mine. And up over here, there's just one last little tidbit, so we'll deal with that as well. This one we took nicely. What else in the messages? That was just the probe. That was that one up there. We lost one Naga. Lake of God. Look at that. Another crazy PD dump. How many is this? What? 76? 76? How many PD is that? Do I have a Merman province anywhere to sort of do the math here? I don't think I do. That's insane. Well, okay. No, I know how to calculate the PD. So he gets one Atlantean militia for every PD over 20. So this is 39 PD. 39 PD, or 38. 38 PD. Man, let's do the math here. Quick as a bunny. Try to remember that math. 38 minus... No. Oh, I'm not doing that right. I gotta look that up. It's not hard to look up. So the name of this series, I don't remember the name. Anyways, oh yeah, there it is. It's n times n plus 1 all divided by 2. So let's do that. So we'll just clear this. So I calculated that was 38. 38 times 39 all divided by 2. No, that's not right. I didn't do that right. 38 times 39 divided by 2. 741? That does not seem right. Does not seem right. Oh, maybe it is right. Okay, so about 800 gold in PD, which is a lot. Although I've seen crazier, but that is an awful lot of PD. What else do we have? So, oh, that one didn't work. Yeah, we saw that one didn't work. Let's just take a look at that. That's a lot of PD. I mean, I was only using independence, but and these guys have poison. These guys are generic, but there's just so darn many of them. 76 of them. Yeah, they're just going to overwhelm my poor gaffers. And even Moss Body isn't going to help at all. There's just not enough Moss Body. The Moss Body will blow, but cause some poison. Haha. Alright. So we've had a look at that. Now, what happened here? Where is this? Oh, I don't think he expected Calum there. No, he didn't. He was thinking he was going to be fighting Atlantis. Haha, you're old. Well, so am I, TJ. I'm old too. I'm semi-retired, I guess you could say. Post-cancer disability. So I play a lot of games. Now, what's going on with this fight? Yeah, look at that. Okay, there were just too many. Anyways, if you get stuck in Discord, well, here, I'll put up my Discord. Feel free to join mine, and you can ask for some help. Let me give you a link here. I think there's a link to my Discord as well in my channel, but this works. Where are we here? Come on. Get me to the chat. There we go. Hopefully that link's live. Anyways, feel free to join my Discord, and I have some mentoring stuff going on there, and it's fairly quiet, but it's mostly to support my video work, which is intermittent, unless you happen to watch the tournament series with Lucid, because we publish twice a week there. He and I do that collaboratively, and that's been pretty huge and pretty excellent. Yeah, you're welcome. So, I mean, if you need help with just figuring out how to use Discord, how to play multiplayer, Fogmind to help, I'll help, Naira will help. There's a few of us that are all good reliable folks. I mean, as far as being old, yeah, like, like I said, I'm not young either. My kids are grown. All right, where were we? We were looking at Zabalba bumped. Micklin smacked the heck out of Atlantis. That was kind of expected. Oh, and he cut me off. Oh, but Atlantis came. Oh, Atlantis caught me. Ah, bummer. Well, I was trying to get away. Nagas are slow, though. Their battle map speed is, where are they here? They're pretty slow. Map move 6, yeah. So, and it's cold, which is a terrible place for. Oh, you watched on to watch the. Well, you can watch the tourney series whenever because that's not live, and obviously you know that that's me with Lucid on the tourney series. Well, we recorded what 5 episodes this week. We're trying to get caught up. We were falling a little behind, but we had a good week. It was pretty exciting too. We have a lot of fun. We've been friends a long time, Lucid and I. Anyways, you can see here that these mournfuls, they hit hard. And did I get moss body? Very little moss body up. Okay. So we can see why this goes wrong. And actually, it's looking like the cavalry are going to get back here, get a couple whacks on the Nagini, I think. And that might send her packing off for home, because she did not get buffs on herself. No, she does not get buffs on herself. Oh no, that was... Oh, sorry, those guys are yellow. No, that's my own PD retreating, so big whoopee. Now, why are the Nagas... I would have thought the Nagas would manage this. Oh, no, look at their encumbrance. 21. Well, that guy's got a chest wound, I expect, or lost an eye. This guy's 19, because it's cold. They're cold-blooded. Just a terrible place to have Nagas. Terrible place. Because what's going to happen is they're going to fatigue out. Yeah, so 20 fatigue, roughly. They're going to hit 5 times and be asleep. That's garbage. Moss body goes off. But we can speed this up a bit. Anyways, it's clear that I pushed last turn a little too far with my Nagas, and that was a little bit costly. So, still, I can afford 6 Nagas. I mean, that's a single turn. Well, it's a little more than a turn. I make 5. And probably, I'm going to, from now on, make only Nagarishis in the capital. The reason being there should be plenty of Nagini around, which mainly they're useful for their leadership and as well their seduction if they're in a fort particularly. But overall, we want these monsters because these are excellent top battle magi. For anybody who doesn't know, they have double shape, not relinquish, change shape. So when they're in the human form, if they take all the damage to their hit points, they switch to Naga form and get their full hit points back and keep going. So they're effectively an almost 40 hit point mage, which is huge. Well, very few other than big giant magi that have anything like that. Now they lose a little bit of water magic in this form, but most of the time when you're on land, that's definitely not an issue. Plus, you've got a reasonable chance of having them at water 4. Sometimes once in a while you might even get higher, but not very often. But it's useful to keep in mind that when you're running around, and plus, they're no longer cold-blooded when they're in that form. So that's very also useful. Tidbits. So a little scout ping. What happened here? Oh, oh, look at that. So Utgard has gone into the water, right? There he is. He's gone into the water. He found turtles. That was handy. I didn't notice he'd found turtle warriors. They're quite decent. They're a decent medium cavalry, but with really high underwater speed, poison damage weapons. The javelins won't work in the water, but they're pretty solid. I mean, medium infantry with 10 protection, and what's their encumber? It's only 4? That's quite decent. Yeah, and then he's using long dead, and typically big, giant Utgard long dead, so. And some events. More bad events. More bad events. Well, so far, oh, but see, we don't have luck scales down over here. Oh, death scale. Okay, that's funky. There'll be something funky here, probably a site under death magic if you can get a death magic search, which is not something that Padala can easily do. There'll be something of interest here. How's my time? Coming on 45 minutes after I take out the 10 minutes of failed. All right, unless anybody has any questions. This was 19. I think we can finish up 20. That'll be 5 episodes. That'll be a good place to finish this off. All right. Ooh, hey, that's nice. Water. Simple stuff, but good. Anything else? No, no, no. Micklin is pinging this one. The Inuki of the Sky, 61 Springhawks. You don't want to be mucking with that carelessly. And to be frank, there's no way I can allow him to have it because it's adjacent to my capital. And he should know that. We've already had negotiations over borders. See, I'm finally taking this one. I agreed to this somewhere around turn 5. It's taken me almost 15 turns to get to it, but other things got in the way. The biggest one was getting almost every Naga that I ever made. Oh, and look at Atlantis. Here he comes. Well, isn't that a nuisance? Man, did I lab up here? No. So now I've got to put together, wherever I can put Nagas together, consolidate them here, buy some fishmen. Well, maybe not. No, I didn't buy fishmen. Possibly because I considered they're just not going to handle the Mournfuls at all. Messages-wise, well, he won that. Oh, that's a lot of barbarians. Where is that? Well, that was nice because now he's set himself a good negotiable border with Micklin. Zabalba's got a good negotiating point to say, hey, this should be my throne. And hopefully we're going to see some Bacabs or one of the other amphibious Zabalban mages start to... there we go, an aha. So he's going to take, and I'm relinquishing. Yeah, you can see that here. So I'm going to give all of this water off to Zabalba, and then he can start fording it up. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, Zabalba can make underwater forts, Patala cannot. And obviously, I'm going to go for this. This is going to be moderately high losses because it's only kind of equal. I do have enough Nagas to hopefully, finish off whatever's left, but they might run away. But if nothing else, by the time I'm done... Now, where did all... Oh, he moved his turtles over here. So he's taking his turtle warriors probably to take out these sea trolls. And Atlantis, yeah, took me out. Now events. There's a good event. Which is where? Up here where my luck is working. And another good event. Again, probably up here where I've spread my scales. And a good event. Okay, so Turmoil Luck is starting to work. There is a thing about Turmoil Luck is it doesn't pay off until you can spread your scales. And when you string yourself out in a long, narrow area, it's a little hard to hold your scales up or hold your candles up. Okay, everybody, that's it for this episode. And I don't have anything else to do, particularly to stream at this moment. I'm going to might do a little final editing. And of course, this will be available in the playlist. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.